Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is Kawhi Leonard reveals Kawhi Leonard was the real leader on the Toronto Raptors. So before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. So one of the biggest criticisms that has followed Kawhi Leonard for his entire career is that he basically has no leadership skills, right? This seems to be the running talking point whenever people want to criticize Kawhi Leonard, right? They say, oh, he's a great player, he's a great two-way player, he's a champion, and all of these different things. But for one reason or another, he just seems to be someone that doesn't know how to lead a group of guys to the promised land. I recently came across some comments that Kyle Lowry made, I think on the CJ McCollum podcast, and he gave some interesting insight to what it was like to play with Kawhi Leonard during their 1 year together with the Toronto Raptors. So I want to read a little bit of some of the things that he had to say. He said, Kawhi rubbed people the wrong way because of how he operates. He's like, yo, give me the ball. I'm going to get it done. And then he continued, you might be like, Kawhi, I'm open. But he was like, I'm going to get this bucket. You understand that he's the best player on your team, and you got to make sure your big dog eat. He says, we'll give you the ball. You do your thing, Lowry added about Kawhi Leonard. As long as we win games, we all good. My role just changed from that year before. My scoring went down, but my assists went up. Whatever happens to me, I don't care as long as we win. So that was a mouthful, right? And those were some of the things that Kyle Lowry had to say about Kawhi Leonard. And I have a few thoughts about some of the things that he had to that he had to say. Basically, it sounds to me that Kawhi Leonard is actually quite similar to a Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan type of player, right? Because these guys are infamous for just basically saying, give me the ball and get the hell out of the way. Right? You remember that play that Kobe Bryant used to do like this? That's an ISO. That's like an elbow ISO that he used to do where just, man, get me the ball and get the heck out of the way, right? It seems to be Kawhi Leonard has that type of personality where he says, listen, guys, give me the ball and I'm not really concerned about your feelings. I'm going to go to work and I'm going to get this thing done, right? That's very Kobe and Jordan-esque. And I believe that type of confidence comes from the fact that, number one, his self-belief in himself to be able to get the job done. Number two, his work ethic. And number three, his track record. Right, you need to have a proven track record to be able to, call those type of shots on the court, and that's why some people were talking about, oh, Ben Simmons is afraid to shoot. I just believe that he doesn't have the track record of coming through and being a jump shooter. Number two, I don't think he works on his jump shot, and therefore he has he's always afraid to shoot. And then Kyle Lowry continued on to concede, and he basically admitted to conceding to Kawhi Leonard, or rather when Kawhi Leonard was there, that he was basically conceding to him. He basically said, I'm with you, Kawhi. No matter what you want to do, I'm with you. Now, does that sound like the person who was leading Kawhi Leonard? Let's just follow this for a second. The guy says, Kawhi Leonard, I'll do whatever it takes, whatever you think it takes for us to win, right? If you think that you need to score every time and do whatever, I'll do whatever it takes. I don't need to score. I need to, as long as we win. Does that sound like the person that's leading somebody else, or does that sound like the person who's following the person that's leading them? Like, does that sound like as if this guy was the one that was leading Kawhi Leonard from his comments? It sounds to me that Kyle Lowry clearly knew that he's like, we need to follow this guy right here. Right, because this guy is the one that has jewelry, championship jewelry in this locker room. We need to follow him because clearly the things that we've been doing over the years have not been working. People act like as if we don't remember that the Toronto Raptors used to be called the Baby Raptors. They were a fantastic regular season team. They get to the playoffs and the Cleveland Cavaliers would beat the brakes off of them. I think the year prior, their head coach won the Coach of the Year, and he ended up getting fired. Masai Ujiri was like, this team is not improving the way I want to. He fired him. Then he traded away DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard, and people are acting like as if Kyle Lowry was the major reason that he was the one leading Kawhi Leonard. No, the fundamental difference was this: they brought in a superstar player that was the guy that they needed to help them get the job done. The Toronto Raptors was a team that was constructed to win a championship. However, they needed that one missing piece. They had Kyle Lowry, who was an all-star. Pascal Siakam, I think one of the most improved Player of the Year award that year with the Toronto. He wasn't an all-star at that time. I think he won the Most Improved Player of the Year award. He was playing, up to his potential. Since then, he's been a bit of a letdown given the trajectory that he was on. So it wasn't like as if he joined like a bad team and all of a sudden he took. No, they were a good team, but they needed Kawhi to get over the hump. I think the year before they got swept by the Cleveland Cavaliers, one of those years prior. So to me, I think it's hilarious when people say, "Oh, Kawhi Leonard needs a leader like Kyle Lowry," and then here we have Kyle Lowry basically saying, "Listen, this guy was the one that led us to the promised land." And I always said it, and I said it 3 years ago. I said, Kawhi Leonard, his demeanor of just having a very common effect that he doesn't seem like somebody that panics, I think is something that rubbed off on his Toronto Raptors teammates. When you panic, when you get swept in the playoffs, it means that something went horribly wrong, right? Something went horribly wrong, given the fact that I think you were one of the top teams in the NBA in the regular season. You get to the playoffs and all of a sudden you have a mental breakdown. That means something is wrong. There were many times during that playoff run with the Toronto Raptors, when Kawhi Leonard was with them, where they could have lost. You can think of the Philadelphia 76ers series. You can think of the Milwaukee Bucks series when they went down 0-2, when everybody wrote them off. If that was the Raptors from the year prior with DeMar DeRozan, they would have lost. We all know this, right? They would have lost. But when Kawhi Leonard was there, they won. And you telling me, that this guy was not the leader? I just think it's a bunch of hogwash. The guy during that year in the playoffs, he averaged, if I'm not mistaken, during this playoff run, he averaged over 30 points per game. He shot during his year with the Toronto Raptors, yes, he averaged 30 points per game. He shot 49% from the field, 38% from the three, 88% from the free throw line. Got you 9 rebounds a game, 3.9 assists, and 1.7 steals. Led the playoffs in points, rebounds, and steals. And you telling me that this wasn't the guy that led them? So I'm just happy that Kyle Lowry was able to go out there and just basically take us behind the scenes and let us know exactly how it was when he was there playing with Kawhi Leonard, and basically essentially let me know that, listen, this guy led us. Right. And it's not the other way around where people try to make it seem like, Kyle Lowry led Kawhi Leonard. It makes absolutely no sense. Right. They tried to do it with Rajon Rondo. He was there and then they lost. Right. When Kawhi Leonard went down, why didn't Rondo step up as the leader and lead them? Right. That's why I think people just talk like, the leader, the guy. It's not the guy that goes out there and gets the job done. It's the guy that's talking about getting the job done. Right. No, give me somebody that's going to walk the walk instead of just talk the talk. Right? Actions speak louder than words. And in sports, you got to be able to back it up. Right? The guy that goes out there and gets it done is the guy that I'm more impressed with. So those are my thoughts and opinions. So what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about the comments that Kyle Lowry made? And number 2, do you still believe that Kyle Lowry was the one that was leading Kawhi Leonard on that Toronto Raptors championship campaign, or vice versa? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode.